please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Hi, a very good morning. You're watching Trading Hour on CNBC TV18. I'm Ekta Batra and with me is Prashant Nair. Well, it's turning out to be a bit of a sluggish session and no surprises there considering the kind of weakness that we've seen in the US markets as well as the Asian markets. We have the US 10-year which is at 3%. We have the Rupee which is now at around 13 to 14 month lows as we speak. 66.69 was the intraday low that we saw in the Rupee in today's trading session. So do watch out for that level. So overall turning out to be a bit of a sluggish session because of the kind of macros that we're seeing worldwide as well as back home. But if you're talking about a couple of stocks in focus, it continues to be the entire telecom space. So we have Bharti Airtel which is up 4%, Bharti Infratel which is down around 0.8%, and a couple of more stocks which we will be discussing over the next 1 hour. ICICI Pru, for example, up 6%, and we're expecting numbers from Wipro, Ultratech as well as the likes of Syngene today. Hi, Prashant.
Ekta, hi, good morning. I mean, but this is still remarkable considering the fact that overnight we had such red all over the place, right? I mean, so none of that here. Flattish is what you would sort of describe the markets today that we're seeing right now. 0.25%. I mean, look at what happened overnight to the Dow, for example. We were talking about triple-digit cuts. But I think now things will get a little bit more unclear. Remember, stock markets have been doing very well with yields rising, dollar strengthening and oil prices going higher. What happens if all three start to reverse a little bit? I'm not suggesting it will, but if oil prices start to come off, I mean, that's actually unambiguously good news, great news for stock markets. But will it be actually good news? Because, I mean, stock markets have been doing well as oil headed to $74, $75 on Brent. So what happens when oil starts to reverse? I mean, same is true for all these relationships between, say, for example, the dollar, the yield, and the stock markets in turn. So I think given also the fact that the market has done so well and the recovery has been so strong, it will get a little bit confusing from here on, at least for the next couple of weeks. Sudarshan Sukhani is with us of S2Analytics.com. Sudarshan, thanks very much. Good to have you here. Your sense of things, is there any confusion in your mind or you're crystal clear about the direction?
Good morning again. Well, I'm clear about the direction. Obviously, the market will tell us whether we are on the right track or not. But it does appear that 10,600, 620, 640, you name that number. At this point, it is 10,640. That's acting as strong resistance. And remember, this resistance is coming after a 600, 700 point rally. It's not as if the resistance came immediately after the markets fell. We've rallied a lot, we've enjoyed ourselves, and my sense is that we are now looking at a correction in the month of May. Also remember, sell in May and go away, and we are coming into May. Okay. So I'm saying buy Nifty puts for May and hold on to them.
Okay. What would be the stocks that you'd focus on, Sudarshan?
Well, it's a mix. PSU banks are again getting hammered. You know, PSU banks never had that rally which the Nifty had, but they're getting all the declines. I think there's much more downside there in PSU banks. Today, Union Bank is the short selling idea we have for this show, but you could really sell any of the PSU banks. Then we have ONGC. Surprisingly, ONGC has been falling in spite of the rally in crude prices. Some other dynamics are at work here. Anyway, the chart tell us lower levels are coming, so ONGC is a short sell again. The only buy here is Hexaware, part of that mid-cap IT pack, which is doing well. Short selling should be done only intraday.
Sell ONGC, sell Union Bank and buy Hexaware. Those are trades coming in from Sudarshan. Ekta, May is a much maligned month, right? Although May is usually when you take your holidays.
Me or you? We're not going to see you in May.
Should not be maligned. It's a good month. Well, it's time to get some questions answered, and this is being sent our way on Twitter and other medium. Karthik is 100 shares of Jet Airways. He's paid 738 rupees a share for them. He wants to know whether to hold or sell. So question on Jet, cost is 738 a share. Sudarshan, what would you tell him?
Oh, he has to sell. First of all, Jet itself is not doing well. The charts are suggesting that weakness is ahead. And second, it's not the best stock in the airline space. So if at all you want to buy something in airlines, Indigo is a far better option. So sell Jet, either switch to Indigo or look at something else, maybe IT or pharma.
Okay, all right, Sudarshan, we're going to let you go on that note. Thanks very much for joining in and taking us through all of those strategies on the technical side. We have some more F&O calls which are lined up. Yogesh Mehta of Motilal is with us to tell us about that. Yogesh, hi, morning, over to you. So what are the strategies you're recommending?
Yeah, good morning. Markets are really facing resistance level from 10,630 to 10,650 levels, which is a retracement level from the big fall from 11,171 to 9,920. So here we are also cautious about the market on the uptick. Unless it closes above this level, then it will not be prudent enough to go long. But however, there are some stocks which are available and the risk reward ratio is favorable, so there we are recommending buy. And Reliance is the first one where current price is around 969 level in the May series, keeping a stop loss of 948 or 45. One can hold on long with 1010 as a target. The other one is IT major TCS. We have seen a strong rally, and still despite that rally there is no sign of any correction further, and short has been built up the short has been trapped. So it seems that 3444 is the current price, and keeping a stop loss of around 3290 or 3400 or 3390, their price target could be in the range of 3550 to 60 level. And the third one which we are recommending is IndusInd Bank. The stock has not shown any kind of correction since it has started rally from 1600 level, and it's near to all-time high. The current price is 1855 to 57 level. Keeping a stop loss of 1830, one can go long in this, and keep target could be in the range of 1910 levels.
Okay, thanks very much, Yogesh. Appreciate you joining in, and we speak soon again for more trades. The market's down about 24 odd points. You know, the mid-cap index is unchanged actually, and the bank Nifty is down about 0.4%. Declines overwhelm advances, but by not any great margin. The market is down, but not out. I mean, 26 points, hardly anything. It's a 1/4% cut, and it's been pretty steady now for that way for the last hour and a half or so. What's happening in the commodity space? I mean, oil. Actually dived lower yesterday overnight. I mean, there are queues to track, and metals. That was the big story yesterday. What's happening in some of those base metals today? Manisha is here with all of that. Manisha, morning.
Morning, Prashant. Thank you so much for that. Well, yes, some profit taking in energy, but the gains have come back in case of the metal space. But what I really want to highlight right now is the World Bank report for the commodity markets outlook for 2018. And they are quite bullish when you look at the crude oil prices. Remember, last year prices averaged at $53 per barrel. World Bank hopes that, or rather forecasts, that you will see the prices averaging $65 in 2018. And that would be the same number that they have put out for 2019 as well. So that really is 20% of gains in the crude oil prices for all of 2018. They are quite bullish for the metal space as well. They expect that index to rise up by 9%. The global demand has been strong. There is no new capacity that we have seen coming in, and the underinvestment in this sector are some of the features that they have put out in sense of bullish views for the metal prices. The precious metal space also is expected to rise up, and 3% of an upside is what the World Bank has put in sense of precious metals. Remember, it is going to be the interest rate scenario, but the geopolitical concerns and the weakness in US dollar are perhaps a couple of factors which could be supportive for that. And when it comes to the agriculture commodities, well, there's an expectation that you would see a price rise of 2% coming in for that one as well. Most of the commodities actually are looking at stronger output levels globally, and that would keep the prices sustaining. But it is expected to be strong demand from many of the countries, which is expected to take the agriculture commodities as well on the higher side. But the best of cues, of course, still continue to come in from the crude oil prices. Strong demand, OPEC production cuts. The prices already have doubled from their 2016 lows, and this is one sector that everybody is feeling quite choppy about. But Aurobindo Gai now joins us to talk more about that. Aurobindo, hi. The World Bank report clearly has been very bullish on commodities for this year and the next year as well. For the crude oil prices at below 4,600 for MCX, how are you putting to trade that?
Well, from the short-term perspective, I think the trend continues to be bullish. And correctly said, we are seeing a bit of price correction since last overnight. And just a minor correction, maybe since it is not broken $70 for WTI, and it is now off by almost $2 from the high. So that is the reason we are seeing a bit of correction. Otherwise, the trend continues to be bullish. So I think from the intraday trading perspective is concerned, I think I'll continue to go short for the day. Maybe 4550, since it is not breaking 4600 levels at the Indian market, the call would be to going short around 4550 for a target of 4470, which is around 70-80 rupees target for intraday with a stop loss of 4600. So basically, this is a minor correction that we are looking at it. But then if we talk about from the longer term perspective or medium term perspective, I'm sure, as you said about the World Bank targets or the report, I think that I'm in line with that kind of view. And maybe $65 seems to be a very strong average price for the entire year. Maybe around $60 is something that probably we can look at it on a conservative note for this entire year.
All right. Let's talk about the metal space as well, and there is buying comeback there. Aluminum prices, especially after 13% decline in 2 trading sessions, are trading nearly a percentage point up, and LME, Shanghai and the Indian markets seem to be taking cues from that. Steel prices are trading at a 7-week highs as well. One, what do you give that strength to in metals, and are you buying at these levels?
Need to be very skeptical and cautious for base metals, especially aluminium per se concerned. And we saw a rally of more than 25% or so. And the prices also have declined more than 50% of that. And this morning it is slightly higher, but then I think it is not to be ruled out that more correction is still due. And actually LME had started rising from $2,100 till $2,700. So now we are around $2,200. So I think another $50-60 kind of price correction is still due. So I think the kind of gain that we are seeing, it might fade away by end of the day today or maybe by tomorrow. So I think instead of buying aluminum at this moment, I would rather going short. At the Indian market, I think I'll go short around 149 for a target of 142 kind of levels with a stop loss of 152. But then if I talk about other base metals, of course, yes, copper is looking positive. Nickel is also looking positive. So I think among the 5, I will continue to go short for the shorter term in aluminium, but then I'll continue to buy copper and nickel in the short run.
All right, very quickly before we let you go, a cue on the agro space as well, because while World Bank is expecting the agro commodity prices to go up, in the Indian markets, that clearly is not the case, with sugar, oil seeds, pulses, almost everything trading in the constant negative territory.
Yes, I think we have spoken earlier about the sugar. I think the excessive production is going to control sugar market and should be remaining on the lower side. Okay. And the edible side, if I would say, I think soybean and mustards are also expected to remain under pressure because kind of good amount of gains have already been noticed last couple of months. So I think soybean or mustard might see some sort of profit booking or maybe some more correction onto the downside in the short run is expected.
Okay.
Thanks very much, guys. You know, I just want a quick question of my own, and this is on gold to both of you. So this is Jeff Gundalch, who runs a $100 billion fund. I mean, he's known as a bond king on Wall Street, and he got the commodity call absolutely right in 2018. There's a quote here, and this is overnight. I mean, came out in one of the articles. He said, and this is, I'm only mentioning it because of the upside he's mentioning. He says gold is maintaining an upward pattern above its rising 200-day moving average, which is extremely good. An explosive potential energy of a huge head and shoulders bottom base is signaling a move of $1,000. You're not saying it's
100,
gold
not,
is where?
not 100,
1,300 or whatever, right?
Yeah. Right now we are holding around 1330, 1350.
He's
but
saying
then
that gold is signaling a move of about $1,000 from here.
Yeah, I would like to talk about it for a while. I mean, I think historically, since last 4 years, we have been seeing that gold is not able to break $1,380. Right. So perhaps the 200 moving average that we are talking about here is something, a strong resistance level seeing there. So technically or psychologically, I would say that $1,400 is not broken for the last 5 years. So once that is broken, then probably everyone would say that the trend is now clear, move, and the kind of head and shoulder pattern what we are talking about here is it's going to actually rule out then. So then we will see price rallying towards these previous highs of $1,900. He
adds a caveat though, as all good market men. He says, I'm not predicting it, I'm letting the market prove itself.
No, but you know, there have been reports out for 1,600, even 1,650 by 2019 end, but $1,000 of a move I think is still slightly far off, really far off.
Who knows? But all right, guys, thanks very much, both of you, for coming in with that perspective, those trades. We will take a very quick break here. We have to, so slip into that one. 30 points lower on the Nifty, so there's a little bit more in terms of a cut that we are seeing. Mid caps are absolutely flat, although There's a 2-point change, so flat. We are back and we focus on the big corporate story. Bharti Infratel and Indus Towers have finally announced a merger. It was announced earlier this morning. The market's not going anywhere, so rest assured, 29-30 points lower on the Nifty is what we have. The big corporate story that was out this morning was Bharti Infratel and Indus Tower announcing the merger. My colleague Nisha is here in the studios. She's been reporting on this deal now for the last year or so, actually. It's been that long in the making, actually. But it's finally out. So, Nisha, first to you. Done and dusted?
Oh yes, it's been 2 years since the time Bharti Airtel started to think about selling stake and monetizing stake in Bharti Infratel. So it's been 2 years that we've been trying to really take stock of this particular large transaction, and it had to take so much time because there were big telecom players like Vodafone, Idea, Bharti Airtel, all to come to one table for one deal was an extremely difficult task. But kudos to them that finally it is done, also because of the pressures that they're seeing in the telecom sector. To take you through the contours of the deal that has been announced, which we remember reported first, is that Bharti Infratel and Indus Tower will merge to create the largest telecom tower company in the listed space in the country. And this will have a valuation, an equity valuation of $14.6 billion. Now, we know that Idea Cellular as well as Providence are also stakeholders in Indus Tower. So what will happen is that Idea as well as Providence will get the option to exit or stay on with the merged entity. Apart from that, if Idea exits, Bharti Airtel and Vodafone are going to be the joint promoters of the merged large entity, with Bharti Airtel getting 37.2% stake and Vodafone 29.4% stake. For Idea, it could be a good gain because it is $1 billion for their 11% stake in Indus Tower that they can get at a time when they will be very heavily debt-laden while the merger with Vodafone is going on. Apart from that, the merger ratio is 1,565 shares of Bharti Infratel for 1 share of Indus. So it is going to be a large company being created. And of course, they can monetize, Bharti Airtel can monetize their stake going forward in order to really pump in more money and build war chest for the telecom business.
Rima is standing by as well. Rima, morning. I mean, for existing shareholders, what will this transaction mean?
They now have a presence. They're getting in Indus as well. It creates a pan-India presence. So, you're getting a pan-India player. So, for existing shareholders, it's a little more of the same. I don't think people have any qualms with the valuations given to Infratel as well as Indus, at least not up until now. So, I guess it's more of the same. Today, Infratel is under pressure is on account of the financial challenges faced by the tower companies itself. In the conference call yesterday, they indicated that already we've lost tenancies. The co-locations were down 22,000 in FY18, and going ahead with the Idea Vodafone merger coming on board, the gross tenancies could be impacted to the tune of 25,000. That will be over a period of 2 to 3 years, the time it takes to consolidate. So people, the shareholders of tower companies right now are more worried about, the weakness of the operators and what that will mean in terms of, the impact on tower companies.
Rima, the other story, of course, has also been Bharti, right? I mean, the results. What is the one big highlight? I mean, the buoyancy in data consumption?
Yes, so that is a big positive. So just quickly, let me run you through the numbers. For one, slightly better than expectations. People thought there would be a loss, but they managed to report a profit. The beat at the operational level was led by Africa. India margins continue to see sequential pressure. At the EBIT level, there was a loss to the tune of 482 crore. The average revenue per user on expected lines has declined by nearly 6% on a quarter-on-quarter basis. But it's the internal metrics which look good. A lot of the other telecom players are also bleeding financially, but they're not managing to report such strong internal metrics, which is what has buoyed the streets, whether it's the volume growth on voice or the data volume growth of 40% on a year-on-year basis. The minutes of usage have gone up by 15 to 20% on a quarter-on-quarter basis. So all these metrics are looking good. The other key reason why Bharti is higher in trade is because of the TD-SAT ruling, which provides at least interim relief. Remember, the TRAI had tweaked the definition of a significant market player when it was calculating whether an operator was using predatory pricing. That has been put on hold for now. So that comes as a relief for telecom players. And finally, it's the merger with Indus, because now Bharti Airtel can monetize its stake in a much larger entity and, you know, get some money in from perhaps PE players. And the stock was, of course, down 20% in 2018 itself. So it's already gotten hit quite a bit.
Okay, Rima, thanks very much. Appreciate you getting us all those details. We have to take another very quick break here. So let's do that. There's also news on, I think, Indoco. And the stock is turned down a little bit. Evidence of falsification of data in the good manufacturing practices records, GMP records. And it's the UK MHRA has issued non-compliant certificate to Indoco's Verna Unit 1. Now, how important that unit is, etc., we'll have to find out. And we'll try and do that